Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, I just got finished with a group coaching call in my coaching program. And one of the guys in there had this really cool story that I'm just so fucking keen to come on here and share. He was so excited to share this story about a girl that he just hooked up with and fingered in a park and had some wild, fun experiences with. Because I think it's a really cool story about honesty, about not pushing people to do something that they're not comfortable with, that they don't want to do, and about what happens if you're just upfront about exactly what you want. So, for full context, this guy is a guy that came to my coaching program and doesn't have a whole lot of experience with women. He's not quite a virgin, but hasn't slept with a lot of women, has never approached anyone on the street, like has never done cold approach or any of that. He had, through our program, started approaching women, little bits and pieces, and then he ended up meeting up with Ed. You know, Ed being this handsome motherfucker. Look at this beautiful man. Ed was one of my oldest coaching clients, and he's now a coach in my coaching program. So this guy met up with Ed, and Ed took him out and taught him how to teach or how to talk to women. And so they went out. Ed was his wingman. They went around town. He approached like 8 women, as in this new coaching client approached like 8 women, never really approached before, had a great time, got a girl's phone number, ended up inviting her to a bar where he and Ed were hanging out later that night. They had a great time. And we've been teaching this coaching client to just be honest and upfront, like I say on this channel all the fucking time. And so he had a moment where he wanted to kiss this girl. And he's in his own head and he's thinking, what's the perfect way to, do this? How do I escalate? How do I keynote? How do I do all of that shit? And then he said he had Andy's voice, my voice in the back of his head that said, just be fucking honest with her, bro. Just tell her, I want to kiss you. And so in that moment, he said to her, hey, I'll be honest with you. I want to go back to your hotel room with you and hook up. She was traveling. She had a hotel room. He's like, I want to go back to your hotel room and hook up. And he said he was completely fucking surprised. She grabbed his shirt or his necklace and she almost aggressively pulled him closer to her. And right in his face, she said, oh, like with a big smile on her face, oh, you want to fuck me, do you? And he was kind of just like smiling and he's like, yeah, I kind of do. And it was fucking game on from that moment. He said she was just suddenly crazy into him. They started making out. They started doing all this kinky shit. And again, this is a guy without much sexual experience at all. Certainly never done anything like this. And so they go back to her hotel room. It's game on. They're making out, all of this kind of stuff. And this is where the really cool part of the story kicks in. They're about to have sex. And she says, I really want to fuck you, but I'm terrified that I'll hate myself in the morning. And he said in that moment, he had a realization. He could probably just push through that and, be like, yeah, girl, don't worry about it. Like, we can just have sex. And he could have said something to get her to have sex. But, this is obviously a very empathetic human being, a very, great, nice guy. And so he paused and he said, pump the brakes. Okay, what's up? Like, why will you hate yourself in the morning? And she kind of was hesitant at first to tell him. And then she opened up that she had a fear of STDs. And a lot of people do have fears of STDs, like nervousness, hesitation. STDs tend to get very overblown. And we're taught in school that STDs are the devil and sex is evil and, abstinence is the only way. And so she obviously had a big fear of STDs. And it turns out that she had been through some stuff in the past where she had an STD when she was younger and she ended up needing surgery to remove, I think, like a lump or a cyst or something. Anyway, long story short, she had had an STD when she was younger and he thinks it kind of traumatized her a little bit. And so she had all this fear of like, fuck, I went through STDs before and, I end up having a lump or some shit and it really scared me. And, I'm just hesitant to do all of that. So they ended up talking it through. He paused and he said, right, we don't have to have sex, but do you want to talk about it? And she was like, I do. I really want to have sex with you. I'm so into you. I think you're so masculine. I think you're so confident. He's not, but like, it's pretty ballsy and confident to walk up to someone, hit on them, invite them to a bar, and then say to them, even though you're nervous, I want to go back to your hotel room and hook up. I want to fuck you. You do want that. And so he came across as very confident. She found that very sexy, even though he was nervous and inexperienced. So they had this big long conversation for a couple of hours and he was just, empathetic and he listened and he was like, hey, we don't have to do this. I don't mind if we don't fuck, but like, what do you want to do? And she's like, I want to hook up. I'm nervous about this STD thing. And so he kind of just said, like, do you want to do other stuff? Do you want to like make out? Do you want to just finger each other? Like I guess I would finger you. Like, what do you want to do? And so they ended up going out. They went to a park at night. And he said it was fucking crazy. They were making out. She was sitting on his lap and grinding on him. And he ended up fingering her, and she loved that. And I think she gave him a hand job. And they ended up having a really fucking fun night. And he said at one point she was sitting on his lap, like biting his neck, licking his ear, whispering in his ear the dirtiest shit that he'd ever heard in his entire life. Remember, this is a guy that doesn't have much experience. And he said people were kind of walking past and he would just kind of be looking at them. It was, late at night, everyone's drunk and all that kind of stuff. And he said he'd be looking at them and being like, hi, like while this girl was on his lap, like making out with him, whispering dirty shit, kinky shit in his ear. And so they ended up having this really great night. And yeah, they didn't go all the way. She was still had that fear of STDs and she was leaving town. And so it was only going to be like that night. I said to him later, if you guys lived in the same city, like if she wasn't leaving, you guys probably could have just kept talking about it over the next couple of dates. And then maybe she gently moves past her fear of STDs and you guys wear condoms and all that and you hook up. But they only had one night, like basically that night. So, he fingered her. They had a hand job. They had a great time. He's really, really, really happy for this story. He's like, I count this as the world's biggest win. Like, I don't even care that we didn't have sex. Like, I got to open up and be empathetic and compassionate to someone. I got to see what it feels like not to push someone and to actually say, what do you want? And then to listen to their concerns rather than just pushing through it and saying, no, I need to get laid. Like, to actually sit there and listen and go like, hey, like, what's up? Like, you got this fear of STDs. What do you want to do? Like, do you want to fuck? Do you not want to fuck? And he said it was a really, really, really great night and an amazing learning experience. And in his case, or in his mind, a big win. And so we had this big, long conversation about it. And we ended up talking about how a lot of people feel compelled to like push through that and go like, don't worry about STDs, baby. Let's just like hook up. But you feel a lot better about who you are and you like yourself a lot more when you don't push people, particularly when they're nervous or scared about something, and you instead just sit there and listen and say, hey, what's up? Like, we can talk about this. I'm not going to pressure you. I'm not going to push you. We don't have to have sex. I'm fine if we have sex. I'm fine if we don't. And so she ended up being really grateful and appreciative. And, he got this great sexual experience out of it. So did she. They got to have a whole lot of fun. And maybe more importantly, more than anything, he now feels really good about what he's doing. When he now hits on the next woman, if she has any nervousness or fear or doubts or insecurity, or puts up any sort of like resistance or hesitation or nervousness, he's now practiced at saying like, hey, what's up? Like, no pressure. We don't have to have sex. We don't have to hook up. But like, do you want to talk to me about this? And now the next woman is going to find it easier to talk to him and open up and say, I want to hook up with you, but I have work in the morning. Or I want to hook up with you, but I'm on my period. Or I want to hook up with you, but I normally don't have sex on the first date. Or I want to hook up with you, but... And then he can listen to that and they can talk. They can either solve that problem together and he can say like, do you want me to listen? Do you want me to help you feel better about this? And then we can have sex if we want to. Or we don't have to have sex right now. I can listen. You can tell me. That's cool. We can just make out or do nothing at all and we'll just meet the next time and have sex. You literally make it easier to have sex with people when you can empathize, when you can listen, when you can sit there and say like, hey, what's up, girl? Like, what's going on? Like, you don't want to have sex? That's cool. We don't have to. But like, what's on your mind? And then she opens up. You get to help her solve that problem. Because a lot of the time, especially like this guy, this woman actively wanted to have sex with him. And again, if she wasn't leaving town, these two would have just probably had sex. I can't guarantee that, but like 95% chance that she eventually, if they go on like 3 dates, she moves past her fear of STDs or she's okay with it or she's willing to take a little risk. And it's not a risk, but like she's willing to let go a little bit and say, okay, if we wear condoms and we're careful and maybe if we get a STD check, if that's what she feels comfortable with, like they would have eventually hooked up, right? But because you're more empathetic with the next couple of women that you talk to, you make it easier to have sex. Like a big part of the reason why I've had so much sex is because there's been so many moments where a woman hesitates or she's nervous. And I'm able to say, hey, I can sense a little bit of nervousness here. We don't have to have sex. Like, we don't have to hook up. Do you want to talk about it? And then she goes, yeah, I normally don't have sex this early. And then I'm like, cool. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to wait till next time? Do you want to wait one more date? Like, do you want to make out a little bit? Like, You don't want to have sex right now. That's cool. We don't have to. Like, what do you want to do? What would you like to do? And then she goes, well, I'd like to make out with you. Cool. I'd like that too. Let's do that. Or I'd like to give you a hand job. I'd like to fool around. I'd like to do this or that. Cool. Let's do that. Like, there's been so many girls that Imogen and I have dated where it's like that. They're nervous. Or there's been so many girls before Imogen when I was dating girls by myself when they were just really nervous, like especially girls that are inexperienced or virgins. It's like, yeah, they're probably not going to fuck you on the first date. They're scared. They're terrified. And if you're empathetic and able to not take resistance or hesitation or nervousness personally, like you don't see it as like last minute resistance, or you don't see it as like objecting, like she's not objecting or rejecting you. No, she's just fucking nervous. When you're able to have that more empathetic viewpoint, you can then say to her, hey, like we don't have to have sex. I get it. You're scared. Do you want to talk about it? Like, what are you afraid of? Well, I'm just afraid of it hurting because I'm a virgin. Oh yeah, no, like that's a normal fear. Yeah, lots of guys just like shove it in, and that probably will hurt. And so if we do have sex, yeah, we just have to go like ridiculously slow. Probably just start with some fingers the first couple of times we hook up, and lots of lube. Like I have so much lube. It's meant to feel good. Like sex doesn't have to hurt. Even if you're a virgin, it doesn't have to hurt at all. You just have to go really slow and be really patient. And it might take a couple of times before I can get my dick in you. Like I'm not even a big guy. I don't have a massive dick, but like you're a virgin. And so we might have to take like 3 or 4 attempts, like over 3 or 4 different, times of seeing each other. Like it might take 3 or 4 weeks of trying before we can get the dick in and it feels good. So let's just start with fingers, and then we can slowly open up to 2 fingers, and then I can put just the tip of my dick in and not really go any further than that. Now we can slowly just open up, and, you can practice at home with your own fingers if you want to. I can give you homework. Basically you sit there, or I sit there and talk to them about it and solve that problem for them. And then they go, okay, well, so it's not meant to hurt. It's meant to feel good. And you're like, yeah, why would I want to have sex with you if it doesn't feel good for you? I want you to have fun. It's only fun if I'm having fun and you're having fun. And they hear all that and they go, I guess I would like to do something tonight with you then. I don't know if I'm ready for sex, but yeah, like the stuff you said sounds really good. I'd love you to finger me and maybe try that stuff. Can you just be gentle and slow? And if I want to stop at any point, is that okay? It's like, of course that's fucking okay, woman. You just tell me how you're feeling the whole time. And if you're nervous, I'll ask you. I'll keep asking you during sex. How does that feel? Would you like to go a little bit slower? Do you want to stop? Do you want to go faster? I'll like preemptively ask you because you're nervous. You might not have the confidence to speak up. So I'll handle that stuff for you. You have that conversation. People are so much more likely to then have sex with you. And the same as any other resistance that someone might have. All resistance, people use the term last minute resistance. All resistance is nervousness. It's hesitation. It's not resistance. They're not resisting you. They're not fighting you. It's not a fucking boxing match or a combat sport or something. You're not in a battle with people that you're trying to have sex with. They're nervous. They're scared. And when you realize that and can have the empathy for that, you can then say, hey, I can see that you're nervous. We don't have to do this. Let's take all the pressure off. We don't have to do this. Do you want to do this? And then they say, I do. Or they say, I don't. They say, I don't want to have sex with you, or I don't feel the chemistry. Great. Then let's go separate ways and find the people that we do want to be with. Or they say, like this guy, I do want to have sex with you. I'm just scared of something. I'm scared of it hurting. I'm scared of STDs. I'm scared of being thought of as a slut. I'm scared of what my friends might think of me. I'm scared of being rejected. I'm scared that you'll just want to hook up once and then you won't want to see me again. I'm scared of, you being like a fuck boy. You just want to sleep with me and then, you don't care about me. I'm scared of any of these things or all of these things. And when you hear that, when they open up to you because you've been honest and non-pressuring and non-judgmental first, like it's up to you to go first and show them that you're not going to judge them. When they then open up to you, you can solve all of those problems together if they want you to. Like I've said this so many times, sex, particularly casual sex, particularly if you're going to hook up on like the first date when you don't really know each other that well, that requires, in a lot of cases, problem solving, logistics. Like you have to figure out certain logistics. Like, where are we going to sleep together? Like, is it at your place? Is it at my place? If I go back to your place, do I sleep over that night? What if I have work in the morning? How do I wake up in time for work? How do I get back to my apartment early enough so that I can have a shower, put on my makeup, put on my clothes and go to work and look presentable and not feel like dirty or unclean? If we're going to go to your place, can I trust you? Can I trust that area of town? Do you have roommates? Will they judge me if we have sex together? if we don't have somewhere to stay or to have sex, where are we going to go? What will my friends think? Like, particularly if you're at a club or something and she's leaving her friends, then there's the thought of like, what will my friends think if I'm literally leaving to go and hook up with a guy? Will they judge me? Will other people in the club judge me? Will you judge me? Will your roommate judge me? Would my friends and family judge me? Like, there's all these logistical, like, obstacles almost that you have to overcome in order for sex to happen. And so if you're just trying to push through and just make sex happen at all costs without talking to her about it, without listening when she is hesitant, if you're just like, why is she resisting? I just got to push through and fucking ignore her resistance, ignore her fucking nervousness. Man, holy fuck. Like, you're playing on hard mode. It's so much easier. It's literally so much easier. And you get what you want much more often and much more easily if you just say, hey girl, like, what are you nervous about? What's on your mind? Like, you can just talk to me. We can talk about it. And she's like, well, it's just, I'm on my period and, like, I'm on my period. I don't think I can hook up tonight. You can literally be like, that's okay. Like, I've had sex on periods before. We could put a towel down. We could have sex in the shower. Or if you don't want to do that, like if you don't feel like you'd feel pretty doing that, you feel like you'd be dirty. Do you want to just do some other stuff? Like, we can just make out. Like, you can give me a hand job. Maybe I can blindfold you and just play with your tits. You can keep your panties on. I can put a vibrator over your panties and that'll feel good. Like, do you want to do that? So many women, when I've had that conversation, they're like, are you sure you wouldn't mind? Like, you'd still want to do that? And I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care if you're on your period. Like, that's fine. Like, we can just do other stuff and have fun. We'll have a great time. Like, do you want to do that? They're like, yeah, I really would like that. Are you sure you'd like that? And I'm like, yeah, of course I'd like that. Yeah, it'd be fun. And then we hook up and we do all that stuff. And, we don't have sex, or maybe we do. We either do it in the shower or we put a towel down and I turn the lights off. And if there's a bit of blood, that's fine. You just jump straight into the shower and wash it all off and you're clean. There's been so many moments where when I help women, if they want me to solve these logistical obstacles, we end up hooking up. But if I just push through, I used to years ago, I wouldn't push through, but like, I certainly wouldn't sit there and be like, hey, what's up? Like, do you want to talk about it? I would kind of just like hope that she would get over it if we just kept hanging out. Like, if she was hesitant, I'd just keep hanging out with her and I'd be like, oh, maybe I'll ask again in another 30 minutes and hopefully she just says yes this time. And sometimes people would, but most of the time they wouldn't, because I hadn't done anything to solve the hesitation that they had. We hadn't solved the actual thing that was stopping them from being able to open up and say, yes, I do want to hook up with you. And all of this shit, by the way, applies to business. This is literally business shit. So many people view things in business, like especially sales. So much of sales stuff is like objection handling, the same as like last minute resistance handling in dating. And people will look at it as an objection. Like, you'll get on a call with someone to see if they want to sign up for your product or your service or your coaching or whatever. And they will have some nervousness and people will call that objection, like an objection. I have to handle this objection. This person says, I don't know if I can afford your coaching program. That's an objection and I have to objection handle that. It's like, no, this is a human being who's scared to part with a lot of money. They're really nervous. They want to sign up. Otherwise, they just say, I'm not interested. And sometimes people do say, I don't think I want the coaching. I've had lots of people say to me, actually, I think I just don't want the coaching. And then I'm like, beautiful, man. I want whatever you want. If you want the coaching, I want you to join. If you don't want the coaching, I hope you have a fucking beautiful life, my man. I don't want you to sign up if you don't want to fucking be there. What point would it be for you to be sitting in my coaching program going, I don't want to be here and Andy forced me and talked me into it? The same with sex. What good is it to have a woman in your bed or on the end of your penis if in the back of your mind you're like, I don't know if she really wants to be here. I kind of just like talked her into it. Like, I don't really feel great about this. And so in coaching or in sales or in like offering your product or your service to people, think of it, instead of objection handling, think of it as like, this is a human being who has some nervousness or concerns or some worries or some anxiety. And it is my job, as the person offering the product or the service, it's my job to help them with that if they want me to. And so I can help them solve the problem if they want me to. And if you're ever not sure if they want you to, what you do is you ask. And this is exactly what I do. And it's what this coaching client of mine did. I have said to so many potential coaching clients, when they're nervous, when they're like, I don't know, man, it's just a lot of money. Like, I know your coaching program is great and it works, but like, I'm just scared to open up and pay. Yeah, I'm scared to open my wallet up and pay all this. I will then say, would you like me to help you with this? I will sometimes even say, would you like me to push you with this? And then they go, push me. Like, what do you mean by pushing me? And I go, well, what do you want from me? Do you want me to give you like a big motivational speech about how like it's just money, man, and like you're ready to change your life? Like your life is more important than money. I can give you that speech if you want to. Do you want to solve the problem here of like the money and being nervous to pay it? Like, do you want to look at your budget? I can look at it with you. Do you want to look at how much money you're currently earning and what your expenses are? And we can talk about whether you could cut down on some expenses, like cancel some subscriptions or something so you can afford for the coaching a bit more. Do you want to take a payment plan? Like, do you need me to? I'll do this if I need to. It's not my first option, but if we need to, I can lower the monthly repayments for you. And then you just take a bit longer to pay it off. Like, would you like that? Like, I'll literally say to them, what would you like from me? And I've had people that literally say to that, I think I just want you to push me, man. I think I just want you to tell me to sign up for the coaching. Like, I'm really scared. And if you tell me to do it, I will do it. I need you to push me. And so I'll say, okay, you want me to make you do this. Is that correct? You want me to make you sign up? And they'll go, yeah, man, I think I want you to make me do it. And then I'll be like, okay, you sure? Yeah, I think I want you to make me do this. Okay, let's do it. Get your credit card out. Go get your credit card right now. And then they'll go and get it and they'll come back and they'll be like, I'm really nervous, man. And I'll be like, I know. Do you want me to keep pushing you? And they'll go, fucking hell, man, just like, please make me do it. And I'll go, okay, I'll send you an invoice now for the first payment. Type your credit card in there, pay that off, and then we'll be good to go. Like, do you want me to sit here while you do that? And they're like, yeah, man, like, please don't leave me alone right now. Like, I'm fucking scared to do this, bro. I'm so terrified. Please just sit here with me on the Zoom call. Yeah, bro, I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here. Take your time, enter your credit card details. I'm just going to go get a drink and then I'll be back here and I'm right here. They'll type all that in. They'll be like, oh, man, I'm about to hit enter. Should I do this? And then I'll be like, do you want to do this, man? And they'll go, yeah, bro, can you just make me do it? And I'll go, okay, hit the enter button. They hit enter. And then they go, thank you, man. Like, I needed you to push me. And I'm like, I know, that's what I'm here for, man. Like, you asked me and I gave it to you. Do you want to talk about how you feel now? How do you feel? And they'll go, yeah, man, I still feel like I just did something insane. Oh, I feel really scared. Did I do the right thing? Did I make a good decision? I'll be like, you tell me. What do you think? And they'll be like, yeah, man. Yeah, I know your coaching will help me. I know this will help me be happy or happier. You can be happy without the coaching. I'm glad I did this, man. Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. I'm like, cool, great. So that's me asking if they want me to help them solve the problem. And that's what this client of mine did with this girl. When she said, I want to have sex with you, but I'm afraid that I'll hate myself in the morning. Why? Because I have this really strong fear of STDs and just hooking up and having casual sex. And I went through some trauma. And in that moment, he said to her, do you want me to talk about this with you? Do you want to talk about it? And she said, yes, please. Like, I really want to have sex with you. I really like you. I would like your help with this. And again, ultimately, they weren't able to get to that point where she was able to let go of all the anxiety around STDs. That might have taken a couple of days. She might have needed to go to fucking therapy for it. I don't know. Neither does this guy. They only had one night together to hook up. So it obviously wasn't enough time. But he was able to, have this great experience with her sitting on his lap, whispering dirty shit in his ear, biting his neck, licking his ear, kinky shit that he's never done in his life. He fingered her. She gave him a hand job. They had this great fucking experience together because he said to her, would you like my help with this? Would you like me to help solve this problem? So again, I say this all the time, men and women, or any of you gay guys or lesbian girls, like, you're on the same team as the person that you're trying to have sex with. It's not men versus women. It's team humanity. We're all human beings. We all have fears. We all have doubts. We don't like when people push us to do something that we're not willing or ready to do. We don't like it when we're terrified of something, but the other person is so fucking desperate to get what they want that they just push us through. We've all had pushy salespeople. In the past, many years ago, like 10 years ago, I can still remember it to this day. I purchased a product because there was a pushy salesperson who just went fucking turbo hard with the sales shit. It was for some like face cream or some bullshit makeup product that I didn't give a fuck about. But the guy was just crazy pushy. And back then I didn't have very much assertiveness. now I'd just be like, no, thank you, my friend. I'm not interested. Like, but I didn't have any assertiveness back then. I was a people pleaser. I was scared of saying no. I was terrified of confrontation. And so I ended up paying for this like $100 fucking face cream that I knew I was never going to use. I had no interest in. And I walked away from that. And that guy would be able to say, yeah, I got what I wanted. The guy was a bit resistant, but I pushed him and ultimately he bought the product and he's really glad and it will change his life. It's a great product. He's going to be glad he bought that. I got money. I got my sales. I got what I wanted. I get my commission. I'm going to get rich. I'm going to, make all my money. He got a nice face cream out of it. We're both happy. Like that's what he probably thinks happened. Same as when you push someone when they're resistant to sex or resistant to coaching or resistant to your product, you push them, they walk away and you probably think like, yeah, I'm glad that happened. We hooked up, we had a great time, it was fun. But you don't know what's in the other person's mind. And yes, sometimes they're glad that you push them to hook up with them, or they're glad that you push them to buy your product. But do you know how I felt when I walked away from that pushy salesman that I bought the face cream of, that I still remember like fucking 10 years later? I walked away feeling like the biggest loser in the entire planet. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I went and looked in the mirror. I went home and looked in the mirror and I was like, why am I such a pussy? Why couldn't I say no to that guy? I feel so dirty. I feel like he just stole my money and he didn't because I consented to it. But I feel like an idiot. I bought it. Can I get a refund on this? And I was so fucking embarrassed and humiliated that I didn't think I could face going back there and facing that guy and being like, actually, I wanted to say no to you, but you were very pushy. It was insanely pushy with the sales technique. Like he basically didn't let me walk away. I say didn't let me. I could have still walking away and now I would. But I felt like at the time that I didn't have a choice. He was insanely pushy. And so I couldn't even face going back and saying to him, I want a refund. I didn't want this product. I never wanted it. I have no interest in face cream. What the fuck do I need face cream for? And this shit costs $100, bro. It can't be worth $100. That's insane. But I was too scared and too embarrassed and ashamed. And that is the feeling that some people feel if we push through resistance without asking them if they want us to, or if we use sales techniques and make them sign up for our coaching program, or we push them to buy our product, or we push them to be our girlfriend, or we guilt trip them to staying with us when maybe they want to leave, or we guilt trip a family member into sticking around. Or I had this conversation with one of the coaching clients on the call today. When parents guilt trip their kids to do what the kids want, this guy that we were talking to today comes from like an Indian family, and his Indian parents are putting all this pressure on him to get an arranged marriage and to be a good, Muslim and all this fucking shit. And lots of parents are like that. Lots of Asian parents can be like that. Lots of Western parents too. Put all this pressure on the kids and guilt trip them without any regard for how the children might, or how the kids might feel about that, how the people might feel about that. And so when we push people to do something that they don't really want to do, yes, sometimes we're glad because sometimes we get what we want and then sometimes they just end up having a great time. Like sometimes you push someone, you say, don't worry about STDs, you silly bitch. I'll wear condoms. You push her, you hook up. Maybe she's glad that you did that. Maybe she's like, I'm really glad that you pushed me and just made me do it. I'm really glad that happened. Thank you for talking me into it. But it happens enough of the time that the person is not happy that that happened. Like me with the face cream, and like I'm sure lots of you have faced pushy salespeople, and it doesn't make you feel good. And maybe like me, some of you didn't have the assertiveness to say no. You bought the product or you signed up for the service and you walked away feeling like shit, feeling like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why did I say yes to this? I feel so bad. I can't believe I did this. You remember it 10 years later. I don't regret it now. It was a beautiful learning lesson, but I still remember it, don't I? It was that memorable to me that I can literally remember the cream I bought, where it was, literally what the guy looked like. He looked like this fucking smooth talking, wearing a suit, greasy fucking hair, like this, the stereotypical salesperson. Not to denigrate salespeople in general, but just like he looked like whatever stereotype of a like a pushy salesperson that you have in your mind. That's kind of what he looked like. And so I still remember that all these years later. And this is why I talk about honesty. This is why I talk about just being upfront and saying, what do you want? Do you want to hook up with me? Yo, I want to make out with you, rather than just like pushing her to make out with you. Being like, yo, I want to, I'd love to go back to your place and fuck your brains out. Do you want that? Yo, I'd love to hook up with you and have a threesome. Hey, by the way, I only want something casual. I'm just looking for casual sex. Or hey, by the way, I normally date multiple people. You know, I'm ethically non-monogamous. So yeah, just making sure you're cool with that. If you're not, no hard feelings. We won't go ahead. We won't hook up. You know, being upfront and honest means that everybody that interacts with you feels good for having interacted with you. It means you don't ever have to feel guilty. It means you don't ever have to have that voice in the back of your head going, does this person really want to be with me? Did they really want to hook up with me? Or did they just do it because I kind of made it hard for them to say no? Did they just do it because I talked them into it? Did they really want to be here? Or did they only maybe like 30% want to be here and 70% is because I wanted them to be here? Like life is so much easier. Life is so much kinder. Life feels like so much more peaceful. And you're able to lay your head down on the pillow at night and be proud of yourself when you haven't pushed anyone or not pushed people as much as you normally would and let them make their own fucking choices. You also end up having people be way more into you. I have had this conversation 10 million times with you guys and girls on this channel. It's one of my favorite topics. When you are honest and upfront and you don't push people and you instead say, would you like to talk about this? Or, you know, me with the coaching clients, would you like me to push you? Like, do you want my help with this? You know, feel free to say no, but like, would you like me to push you? When you're non-pushy like that or non-needy, people can trust you because you're not trying to get something from them, or you make it very clear what you're trying to get, like what you want. You're like, yeah, I want to have sex with you. That's what I want. I'm not hiding my intentions. I'm fucking being honest with you. Or in coaching, I'm like, yeah, I'd love you to sign up because you help me pay the bills and I'd be really grateful for that. You know, you'd be paying me money. You'd eventually, if you do a good job in the coaching, which pretty much everyone does, maybe you could give a testimonial for my YouTube channel, which would help my business even more. So like, yeah, that's what I get out of it. So I'd love you to sign up. Do you want to sign up? Like you're making it clear and being upfront about what you want. People then trust you. They go, this person isn't going to hide their desires or their intentions from me. I can feel safe around them. I can let go around them. I don't have to be on my guard around them. I don't have to be on the back foot or on the defensive. I don't have to have resistance. I don't have to have last minute resistance. I don't have to push back. I don't have to meet force with counterforce. I don't have to defend against this person because they've been honest and upfront and integrous and they have told me what they want and they have given me the option to say no and they have respected my no, or they have respected my hesitancy and said, do you want to talk about it a little bit more? Like, you know, you seem hesitant. Do you want to talk about this? And because of that, they can fucking trust you. They can open up to you. And guess what? That works out for you. Like, do it for no other reason than to be completely selfish. You will have better relationships. You will have better friendships. You will get better client testimonials or customer testimonials. You will have more brand loyalty and more loyalty in general. And when it comes to sex, you will have better and kinkier sex when you are open and non-pushy with people, because again, they can trust you. Really good sex requires trust. In order for someone to open up to you and be like, hey, by the way, I have this really filthy kink that I've never told anyone before because I'm scared and embarrassed to say it, but I trust you because you've been honest with me and you haven't pushed me and you haven't judged me when I had resistance or I was nervous or I was scared. You listened to me and you didn't think less of me. I'm going to open up to you about this filthy kink that I've never told anyone. And you're sitting there with some girl or some guy and she tells you her really kinky fantasies and you're like, holy shit, girl, that's hot. I can't believe you told me that. And she's like, yeah, please don't judge me. You're like, bitch, I'm not judging you. My dick is fucking hard. Like, can we please try that? And she's like, really? You want to try that? You don't think it's filthy? And you're like, oh, it's filthy. Girl, you're an animal. You're a fucking filthy beast. But we're trying it. I'm into this. I like fucking filthy girls. Holy shit, girl, let's do this. And then you get to have the kinkiest, wildest, craziest, most beautiful, intense, amazing, interesting sex because this person trusts you. Or in the example of my coaching program or any product or something that you guys and girls might be offering, like your business, you know, in the case of my coaching, because I don't push people to sign up, or I will ask them if they want me to push them. Right? You know, it's not the same as pushing them without consent. I say, do you want me to push you? I ask for their consent first. Do you want me to push you? Because I've done that, the people that come into the coaching program are there because they want to be there, because they have let go of all of their hesitation and their nervousness. They've taken a leap of faith and they've said, I'm ready. Yeah, I want to be here. Andy didn't have to talk me into this. I'm finally willing and ready to make the changes necessary to improve my life and live the life that I want to live. And so then because of that, they trust me and they are willing to take action. They're ready. They took that first leap of faith themselves by saying, yes, I want to be here. I didn't have to make them do it. They chose to. They took that active step. And so that person tries 10,000 times harder in the coaching. They put more effort in. They already went first and took that initial step. So I will then tell them something and say, hey, why don't you try going and talking to a girl tomorrow? Why don't you try, starting your business tomorrow? Why don't we make your first $500 this month? I will give them a suggestion. I'll tell them exactly what to do, and they will fucking do it. Why? Because they trust me, because I didn't push them to be there. I let them make their own decision. I valued their autonomy as a human being. I had empathy and love for them. I didn't just make them sign up so that I could get what I wanted, money, testimonials, building the business, helping people, all of that. I let them make that first step. And so they try 10,000 times harder than the people that I've pushed to be in the coaching program. Because to be very clear, for the first couple of years, I was a pushy little bitch. I thought you had to use sales tactics. That's what everyone told me to do. I had all these sales techniques in my head and I would objection handle and all of that. I did that for probably like 15 people that signed up for the coaching. And it felt so gross to me and such a lie to who I am, to my own integrity, to push people that didn't want to be there or were really scared to be there and to just steamroll over the top of that and say, I don't give a fuck if you're nervous. You need to fucking shut up and give me money and sign up. Like, stop being a pussy. Like, I would literally say that. I'd be like, stop being a pussy. It's like, that's not fucking kind, is it? They're not being a pussy. They're scared. So help them with that fear. Imagine you went to therapy or something. You're like, hey, so I have these like emotional baggages that I want to let go of. And they're like, you need to stop being a pussy. It's like, no, that's not how you fucking help someone. That's not very effective. And so I pushed so much in the first couple of years, and those people ended up being the hardest fucking clients to work with because I had to push them to be there. They weren't going to do it on their own. Maybe they would have if I had talked to them gently, but like the message that we sent or that I sent at the start, the way that we got the coaching started with them was I had to push you to be here. So what do you think happens when I say, hey, do you want to go outside and talk to a woman today? I have to push them to do that because I had to push them to be there in the first place. So we built a habit of me pushing them. And then I have to push them for the next step. And then every single time I have to push them to post in the coaching group. I have to push them to attend the coaching calls. Why didn't you come to the call? Come on, man. You really need to come to the call. They would be more flaky. They would take less action. They would listen to my advice less. They would trust me less because I've taught them from the very beginning that I have to fucking babysit them. I have to make them sign up. And you do the same thing with sex and dating. If you have to push someone to have sex with you, they're not then going to open up as much. You're going to have to keep pushing them to see you. And that's what it was like for me for the first couple of years of working on my sex and dating life. I would often just push, I guess push isn't the right word, but I would talk someone into sleeping with me. And ultimately, yes, you could say, but they made the final decision to say yes. But it's like, yeah, but I was pretty fucking like talkative and pushing them towards it. Yeah. And so we would hook up. And then what would happen? The second time when I'd want to meet up, I'd be like, hey, I had fun. Let's meet up again. They'd be like, yeah, but like, is sex the only thing you want? And I'd be like, come on, girl, like, don't be like that. Like, yeah, I want sex, but like, we can hang out as well. And like, I'd have to put effort in to get them to meet me a second time. Not every girl, but enough of the girls. They'd be like, you were really fucking obsessed with sex the first time we hooked up. Is that all you're interested in? Are you a fuckboy? Like, do you literally just want to hook up? Is that all you see me as? Because that's all I was presenting at the start. I wasn't interested in listening to their concerns or their fear or any of that. I was just like, come on, girl, let's hook up. Let's have sex. It'll be great. Don't worry about it. Like, I wasn't listening. I was just like, don't worry about it, girl. It'll be great. Let's have sex. And yes, I would hook up with those girls multiple times, but it was often the most amount of effort to get them to see me again multiple times. And the same with my coaching clients. We would have to have multiple conversations to get them to show up to the fucking coaching calls, multiple conversations to get them to go out and talk to women, multiple conversations to get them to pay their fucking invoices and like pay the monthly installments of the payment plan. Whereas now I don't have any fucking issues with people paying. Are you fucking serious? There's not a single person that doesn't pay. Like fucking hell, it's so easy to have people pay me. It's so easy to get people to go out and talk to women or to work on their business or to lose weight or to go and socialize or to do any of the goals that they have. I don't have to do anything. I just make a gentle suggestion because they took that first step and showed themselves that they could take action on their own to sign up for the coaching. And yeah, maybe they needed my help a little bit. Maybe they had some fears or some hesitations that we talked through. Sure, fine. But they made the decision from a place of calm and peace rather than from a place of pressure and me needing them to sign up. So the same thing with sex and dating. If you don't pressure the person, if you let them make their own decision, and again, you might need to talk through some stuff. Maybe they want to hook up with you, but they're scared, or they want to solve that logistical problem, or they want to know, you know, what are we going to do the first time? Do we hook up? Like, what do we do? Are we going to have sex? Do I sleep over at your place? What if I have work in the morning? Like, you might need to solve those problems together, right? Fine. But because you didn't push them, or you asked them if they wanted you to push them, because of that, they will then open up to you way more. They will take more initiative. They trust you more. They feel safe around you more. And you win. Again, I say this all the time. The reason for honesty more than anything else is because you fucking win more. Like, I'm appealing to your self-interest here. Don't even do this to be a great person or to change the world. That shit is beautiful. That's why I do honesty now, but it's not why I did honesty at the start. Literally, I did honesty at the start because I felt so guilty about pushing people or talking them into it or not being 100% sure if they actually wanted to sign up for my coaching or hook up with me or date me. I was never 100% sure. I would often be like 95% sure that they wanted to be there, but there'd be that little voice in the back of my head that's like, yeah, but I did kind of talk them into it just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And that doubt was always there. And when I was able to just say to people, do you want to sign up? You can if you want to, you don't have to. Do you want to hook up? No pressure. I don't mind if we don't have sex or not. And if we have sex, that's great. If we don't have sex, that's great. I don't mind either way. I was then able to relax and go, this person 100% wants to be here. I felt good about what I was doing. The people stuck around for way longer. The clients made way more progress and had way more success. They gave better coaching testimonials. I felt better about what I was doing. They felt better about what they were doing. We trusted each other, so we both won, and they tried a lot harder. With dating, we trusted each other, so we had kinkier sex, more open sex, more intimate sex, a better connection, more honesty. They were able to talk to me about any of their concerns because I already listened to their concerns the first time before we hooked up. So they could tell me anything. They could tell me if they're having a stressful weekend, they don't want to meet up because they're tired. They can just tell me that. They don't have to like ghost me or flake on me or just get weird and not reply to my text messages. They can be honest because we set a foundation of honesty. And so be honest, if for no other reason, then it massively fucking serves you. If all of that sounds good and you'd like to join my coaching program and not have me pressure you to join, I will literally jump on a call with you and say, would you like to sign up for the coaching program? Then I will leave a link in the description to the coaching program. And as I talked about, if any of you have nervousness or hesitation around coaching or spending the money, or you're worried about going all in, or you're scared that you won't make the most of your time in the coaching, or you're scared that you won't be good enough, or you're scared that you won't fit in, or you're scared of any of that stuff, I am so unbelievably happy to jump on a free call with you and talk about it. It's what I do on most of those calls. People have nervousness. They have fear. I've had those conversations hundreds of times. I'm really good at those conversations, and not making you sign up or convincing you or changing your mind or, programming your fucking brain or anything, but listening to you. I'm really good at fucking listening to you. I'm really good at coming up solutions if you want me to, and I'm really good at helping you sign up if you want to. And so if that all appeals to you and you've been wanting the coaching program, but you're scared of paying all that money, or you're scared of making a payment plan, or you're scared of going all in, or you're scared of commitment, or you're scared of, whatever you might be scared of, I am so unbelievably happy to sit down with you and talk with you, not talk at you, not force you, but talk with you. I'll leave a link in the description below. As always, ladies and gentlemen, go out there and crush those goals and do it in a way where you're being honest and non-pushy. I promise you, you'll get more of what you want if you're not pushy. If you're empathetic and you listen and you help people solve problems, you help them solve their own problems in order to have sex with you or give you money or whatever it is, I promise you, you'll get more of what you want. They'll get more of what they want, and you will both win.